We have fentanyl streaming into this country. The border crisis is getting worse and worse. I thought to myself, why did we have the highest month in December? Because the cartels are paying attention, and they know that we as Republicans are taking a hard line on changing our immigration policies, and that's causing them to flood in before the gates close. And so
getting a raise is always nice.
So here's what the raise looks like in real terms. The average Social Security recipient receives $1,681 a month, or just over $20,000 a year. In 2023, the monthly payment rises $146 a month to $1,827, or $21,172 a year, a $1,752 increase. Now, Pat's hard work, income, and contributions to the system.
It should also be noted that the latest round of stimulus payments were limited to individuals with adjusted gross incomes of $75,000 or less that were entitled to the full $1,400. It was reduced for those making more than $80,000 receiving a payment. I also want you guys to know that the IRS may owe you money based on crisis-related funds. Stimulus funds, that is, if you haven't even gotten your stimulus check yet. A ton of information about the Ford stimulus check is here, and stimulus payments are here for you and the people that need it the most. Chuck Schumer and the Senate could give a final proposal and approval by Thursday, in a week extension of the stimulus payments. Schumer said the House of Representatives is set to act on a 1-week continuing resolution and a stopgap funding bill as soon as tonight. And when the bill comes to the Senate, we should be ready to get this done as soon as possible. So, Chuck Schumer also said that House Republicans have encouraged their leaders to vote against the bill in a protest of what they call trillions of dollars of wasteful spending, even though it's going to the people that need stimulus the most. The House of Representatives had already passed a short-term funding bill last night to avoid this government shutdown. They kicked the Friday funding deadline next week to allow lawmakers more time to strike a deal on the spending for the remainder of the fiscal year 2023. The continuing resolution passed in a 224 to 201 vote and now heads to the Senate, where it must pass and be sent to President Biden's desk before midnight on Friday to avoid a shutdown. This measure will keep the government funded at current levels until December 23rd. Also, folks, in a notice sent by the House Minority Leader, he said that leadership recommended Republicans to vote no on the bill in an attempt to buy additional time for a lame duck session. But now this means that gas prices are continuing to drop as demand lowered and oil prices held steady. The national average for a cost of gas is $3.26, and that's 50 cents less than a month ago and 6 cents less than a year ago. As the winter weather keeps people homebound, less demand for gas and continued stability in oil prices has contributed to the steady decline of gas prices. AAA spokesperson told Fox News that the seasonal pattern of less driving due to shorter days and crummy weather, combined with lower oil costs, is driving gas prices lower. If this trend continues, many states could see their average gas price fall by $3 a gallon. Under the weight of economic concerns, everybody, a possible surge in crisis and a changed psyche is causing oil prices last week to fall again to nearly a decade low. Oil prices have struggled mightily to hold its rally even on some potentially bullish news, each time falling back down as fundamentals look struggles. Gavin Newsom even said that he announced a proposal to penalize oil companies for reported price gouging in a bid to deter excessive price increases and keep people in California safe from this inflation spike. Under the proposed law, state agencies would even close more review gas costs, profits, and pricing, as well provide the state with greater regulatory oversight of the refining. What this means is that stimulus payments are being on hold for now because of the gas prices. And now, the Census Bureau also projects that the problem will become more widespread in the coming years, as more baby boomers who began turning 65 years in 2021 join the rank of the retired. In 2050, the U.S. population ages 65 and older will be 90 million, nearly double what it was 10 years ago. So in a AARP report, it is happening. The inflation rate is expected to rise once again, everybody. And now the Federal Reserve is planning to take big action to address this major issue. With millions of people worried about with Congress stepping in for a little extra relief, people don't know if they're going to receive stimulus payments in 2023. But in this video, I'll explain to you the most important stimulus check information that you have to know. Because remember, folks, if President Biden does send out the fourth stimulus check in time, many people will get the relief that they so desperately need. And that would definitely be a great thing. So I hope that President Biden can keep his promise to the American people and send out stimulus payments by 2024. Do you think he will? Tell me in the comments. Well, high inflation and the state of the economy remain at the top of the list of America's top concern. A new poll showed that at least 60% of respondents said they have a great deal about concern and inflation in the economy. The percentage increased by 2 points for both categories from a poll taken last year. The Fed is already raising its key interest rate by 0.25 percentage points, underscoring the central bank's commitment to fighting inflation, even if that heightens the financial pressure on the country's banks. Now, folks, listen to this. As recently as 2 weeks ago, the Fed appeared set for a steeper rate hike and prepared to keep them elevated for longer, but a startling deposit run at Silicon Valley Bank and a closure of 2 smaller banks and a takeover of 2 other banks has created this panic in the financial system. Many economists, as well as the Fed, noted the bank's newfound caution following the turmoil would likely drag on the economy. The high cost of living is causing financial headaches for millions of people. That is why many states and cities have approved new relief. There is a $5 million fund from which Americans could get much needed $500 stimulus checks. Everybody, listen up. It's important now. This is happening in the state of Missouri, specifically in St. Louis, and the checks are directed at families with low income. The mayor, who was one of the most people affected by this crisis, said that the people in the city and state have already a plan to send cash to hundreds of families, if not thousands, who are going through a tough time. The bill was presented and is calling for the state to spend $5 million in funds that are coming from the federal crisis stimulus package. They are urging the federal government to agree on sending $500 monthly payments to local families for the next year and a half. This idea is for this program to begin as soon as possible, and its approval will go into 2024. Now, the program is not approved yet, but a green light would mean that eligible people will be with low income, who are either parents or guardians of children in public city schools, and it's a great chance for the city of St. Louis to offer support for working families and their children. The Nebraska governor has also made some school aid and tax cut plans to keep on rolling this week, as lawmakers give a strong thumbs up to a package of property tax changes worth more than $3 billion over the next 6 years. The bill introduced by the senator would increase Nebraska's 2 property tax credit program, cap school property tax growth, and eliminate almost all community college property tax. The package represents the second piece of Governor Pillen's plan to advance this bill. The first piece would cut the state's top income tax rate by 1/3 and make other income tax changes possible. The governor said the property tax package would provide substantial property tax relief for everyday Nebraskans. And last August in the state of Maine, a new law took effect aimed at giving relief to the homeowners who have watched inflation and demand drive up their property values and thus their taxes.
For a bad batch of water. The system then was paused, distributing more water into the system in an effort to have a better chemistry or a better jar test of what they were producing. And so that meant that the residents were draining what was left at that point in the clear wells. This is happening, at a time where we have support with the state there, at the water treatment facility.